Welcome back to another edition of The Schmidt Show here on News Radio 1029 KARN. I am your host, Brad Schmidt. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. 501-403-KARN is the phone number, 501-403-5276. And as we kick things off today, of course, it is Donald Trump's birthday. And so I have some very special audio to play in honor of the former president's birthday. So let's just get right to it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
I thought it would be
so much. Everybody, happy birthday.
Just being black.
I just thought it would be fun. We'd play a short clip of Marilyn Monroe singing happy birthday to the president. Now, of course, she was singing that to President John F. Kennedy back in the day. But, the president, former president number 45, Donald Trump, celebrating, I believe, his 78th birthday today. So happy birthday to former President Donald Trump. And many people hoping that he will not only be the 45th, but also the 47th president of the United States as well. So we'll definitely be watching that over the next couple of months, and nobody's gonna miss whether or not that happens. But today is President Donald John Trump's birthday, and so happy birthday to President Trump. I also want to mention this today. It is there was a Supreme Court ruling that came down today, and the Supreme Court held that attaching a bump stock to a rifle does not make it a machine gun, and thus the federal agency that we all know as the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms cannot ban bump stocks, and it is illegal for them to do so under federal law because a bump stock is not a machine gun. It is essentially what the Supreme Court held today. And so I've already seen the twidiots on Twitter making the rounds and claiming all of the same stupid arguments they claim about all sorts of guns and all sorts of gun laws and things like that. And you've heard many of them suggest, as they have in the past, and they're already doing it again today, that the Second Amendment was not written for AR-15s and semi-automatic Glock pistols, but that it was written for muskets, that these men who were smart enough to essentially predict the future on a multitude of political issues somehow could have never dreamed of the advancement of firearms and the advancement of firearm technology, and therefore they must have believed that the musket was the only thing that the average American citizen should be allowed to own. And so I, in honor of the idiots that believe that the Second Amendment was written for the musket, you must turn off your radio now and no longer listen to me. You must turn in your cell phone and any access you have to the internet, and you must never, ever read anything that was not printed on an original hand-operated printing press, because the Founding Fathers clearly could have never envisioned you using a microphone for your freedom of speech. They could have never envisioned the advent of the internet, and therefore would have never allowed you to be a media entity in and of yourself through the publishing of information on the internet. So you must immediately refrain from using any sort of technology in anything related to the Bill of Rights, including if you go to church, at a church church where they use microphones to amplify the sound of the preacher and of the instruments and the music and the things that you enjoy at your Sunday morning church, you must immediately halt attending those as well, and especially if your church uses anything like video screens or has a building that houses more than kind of a one-room schoolhouse type of building, because, of course, the Founding Fathers could have never imagined a high-capacity church being allowed to exercise your freedom of religion. So please, immediately, if you believe that the Second Amendment was for the musket, please turn in any technology that could in any way relate to the Bill of Rights or the rights that we have enshrined in our Bill of Rights. So that's the absolute and utter stupidity of that argument. So let's get into this. I want to talk a little bit about guns. You've maybe heard me read this before. Somebody else wrote it. I kind of reworked it to make it a little bit easier to read and a little bit more fun. And it goes like this. I own a musket for home defense, since that's what the Founding Fathers intended. A fortnight past, 4 ruffians broke into my humble abode. What the devil, I shouted, as I grabbed my powdered wig and my trusty brown Bess. The first shot down the hallway blows a golf ball-sized hole through the first man's chest. Of course, he's dead on the spot. But there are still 3 more hooligans rummaging through my home uninvited, so I draw my sidearm on the second man. However, since the muzzle-loaded flintlock is a smoothbore, I miss him entirely and nail the neighbor's dog. I have to resort to the cannon mounted at the top of the stairs loaded with grape shot. Tally-ho, lads, is the battle cry as the grape shot shreds the next 2 men. The sound from the blast and the extra shrapnel set off car alarms throughout the neighborhood. So I fix my bayonet and make my final charge at the last terrified rapscallion. The bayonet being fixed to a 4-foot-long makeshift spear, which was until very recently a rifle, easily pierces his ribcage, and he quickly bleeds out, waiting on the police and EMS to arrive because triangular bayonet wounds are impossible to stitch up, just as the Founding Fathers intended. So, tally-ho, Schmidtheads. 501-403-KRN, 501-403-5276 if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, be a part of the discussion today. It is Free Speech Friday, so anything you want to talk about, anything you want to engage in or discuss on a Free Speech Friday is totally up to you. Texter says the puckle gun, I believe it was called, made in the 1700s. It was a hand-cranked Gatling gun. They knew it was possible for guns more powerful than a musket. Oh, of course they did. There was the duckfoot gun that had, I believe, 7 barrels that was essentially designed to be able to fire 7 shots without having to reload. The puckle gun had a firing rate of about 63 rounds per minute. There were 9 barrels that would kind of automatically reload as the carriage would rotate, and it would spin in about a minute per about 7 times a minute, firing about 63 rounds per minute. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And of course I was being absurd and facetious in making such a comment. And the fact is, there were more than just the puckle gun and the duckfoot gun. There were multiple weapons available at the time of the Revolutionary War, at the founding of the United States, and especially in 1781 when the Constitution was written, that had the ability to fire multiple rounds in a quote-unquote machine gun style. Now, they were not common use. They were not your regular, everyday, average American using them to go deer hunting or whatever. But yes, the bump stock ban has absolutely nothing to do and has absolutely nothing in common with the idea that the Founding Fathers wanted you to own only muskets. That is absolute absurdity. So 501-403-KRN, 501-403-5276 if you want to join the conversation, be a part of the discussion. Texter says, though, does the deal for Doe's Eat Place start at 9 o'clock or 9:01. This came in at 9:04. They're sold out. Yeah, they look. Unfortunately, of course, these sweet deals that we have. If you go to our website newsradio1029.com and you click on the sweet deals link, they do generally sell out very, very quickly. Because not only are the thousands of listeners to KARN have access to these, but the literal hundreds of thousands of all of our radio stations, because it's not just KRN, it's Alice, it's B, it's Power 98. All of those radio stations also have the same access to the same sweet deals. So oftentimes these deals, we have like 100 of them available. And so when you're competing with 100,000 people or more potentially for 100 gift certificates, they sell out very, very quickly. And we wish we could do more. But unfortunately, I mean, it's part of the advertising thing and the cost and Doe's Eat Place can't offer 100,000 people a $50 gift certificate for only $25. They would go out of business. So I am genuinely sorry for that, but it is you just kind of have to be logged on right away at exactly 8:59 and ready to go. Hopefully. Refreshing and you get in on it. So, it is not uncommon for these deals to sell out very, very quickly. In fact, coming up, I believe next week, Thursday and Friday, or maybe Wednesday and Thursday, I can't remember which. I think it's Wednesday and Thursday. We have El Portone and Blaze Pizza, which have also sold out very quickly in the past as well. So, but there are a few other deals that are still available. The Arkansas Golf Card, there's three of those left. That's $90 for a $320 value there. We do have a few available. Unfortunately, though, the Doe's Eat Place ones are sold out. So tomorrow morning, though, we have, is it tomorrow morning? No, this morning it was Doe's Eat Place. Yesterday morning was I don't remember which one. That sold out very quickly, though, as well. So anyway, 501-403-KRN, 501-403-5276. Texter says, having trouble getting and keeping your signal today. We've had a few people mention this to us in the last couple of days, and we don't really know what's going on. There's actually a website, and I think this is part of it. It is the the solar activity stuff that is potentially causing some problems. So I'm way late on the break, and producer Leroy just yelled at me. So we will continue with the Schmidt Show next on News Radio 1029 KRN.